Hello everyone. Today I'm going to make the video about the order of operations. So just so you know, the order of operations is not really something I can teach you. It's something that you'll have to practice over and over again until it becomes ingrained in your mind. Just like the multiplication tables, I can tell you what 7 times 1 is, 7 times 2, 7 times 3, 7 times 4, 7 times 5. I can tell you what those are and show you how to work it out, but you're not going to have them memorized just by watching this video. And the order of operations is something that you really get memorized and ingrained in your mind by using it over and over again. But hopefully this video will explain to you how to use the order of operations so that until you have it memorized, at least you can look it up and understand what's going on and why do we need the order of operations. So let's jump into it. The order of operations is important for any time we have more than one operation. It gives us the order in which we're going to do the operations. So if we have this mathematical expression here, 3 plus 4, we know that that is equivalent to 7. And we can do this addition, 3 plus 4. We can do that addition in one step. But if we have something like 3 plus 4 plus 2, we cannot perform both of these additions in one step. We need to do one of them first. So we could either do this one first, in which case we have, this would be equivalent to 7 plus 2, which equals 9. Or we could do this addition first, and we get 3 plus 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2 is 6, so 3 plus 6 is 9 again. So in this case, the order of operations doesn't matter because, well, it's because of the associative property of addition. So the associative property of addition says that we can add these things in any order. I can take 3 fingers and 4 fingers and 2 fingers, and no matter which I add first or second or third, I end up with 9 fingers altogether. So as far as addition goes, we can do the addition operations in any order we want. Same thing goes for multiplication. If I have 3 times 4 times 2, I can do the 3 times 4 first or the 4 times 2 first. Multiplication is also associative. So the order of operations is really important when we start to mix these operations. So if I have 3 plus 4 times 2, all right, and I'm going to use a dot to represent multiplication. I don't like to use the X or the cross because I like to use X, the letter, in math. So I like to use the dot for multiplication. So if we look at this expression, again, we cannot just compute all of this at once. And why can't we compute all of this at once? It's because we have an order here, and if we do this one first, and if we do the addition first and then the multiplication next, we're going to get a different answer than if we were to do the multiplication first. So let's just check and say, if we were to do that addition first, we would get 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 times 2 equals 14. So this is saying I've got a number here, and then I'm going to multiply that number by 2. That's different than if I were to say I've got a number here, and I'm going to add 3 to that number. So here I'm going to do the multiplication first. 4 times 2 is 8, and then plus 3. 8 plus 3 is 11. So depending on the order I do these operations, I get a different answer. And that's not really good if you're going to write a math textbook and put math in it. So if I were to write this statement in a math textbook and I want people to know what number I'm talking about, I want them to know, is it 14 or is it 11? So I use the order of operations I think about the order of operations when I write this down. And I write it down so that when someone else comes along and uses the order of operations, they're going to get the number that I'm thinking of. So the order of operations is just a set of rules, like I said. And the first rule is, if you see parentheses in the expression, evaluate what's in those parentheses first. Parentheses are a way of saying, I want you to do this first. So if we don't have any parentheses, we'll talk about parentheses in a minute, but if we don't have any, then we move on to the next step and look for exponents. So again, we don't have any exponents in this expression. I'm just going to move this over a little bit. So since we don't have any exponents, we move on to the next step again, which is multiplication and division. So at this point, we do have some multiplication. And I'll just tell you the last step, or the last set of operations you do is addition and subtraction. So the order of operations says parentheses come first, and then exponents, and then multiplication, and then addition. So if I were to follow this, I would do the multiplication first and get 8, and then plus 3 is 11. So this expression under the order of operations says 11 is the correct answer, not 14. But if I wanted to write a very similar expression down, but I wanted the addition to happen first, all I need to do is put the parentheses in. So now the parentheses say, do what's in here first, according to the order of operations. So I'm going to do 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. So with the parentheses, I get 14. But without the parentheses, I do the multiplication before the addition. And so just one more example. Let's say 3x squared plus 4x plus 1 minus 2. And x is going to equal 2. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug in a 2. So we need to evaluate this whole expression. So this whole expression, inside these curly brackets, this whole expression is a number. It's one number. After we perform all these operations, we're going to end up with a single number. But we're going to perform the operations one at a time, and this is going to tell us which one we're going to do first, which one we're going to do second, and so on. So the first thing we want to do is what's in the parentheses. So I'm just going to rewrite this and say 3x squared plus 4 times, now x plus 1. I'm going to compute this addition that's inside these parentheses. So x plus 1, I've got 2 plus 1 is 3. So I've got 4 times 3 minus 2. So then the next, I've done all the parentheses. Next is exponents. So I've got a 3 times x squared, but I'm not going to do the 3 times x first. I'm not going to multiply first. I'm going to do the exponentiation first. So I've got x squared. X is 2, so 2 squared is 4. So I've got now 3 times 4 plus 4 times 3 minus 2. So at this stage I've got, all I have left is multiplications and addition and subtraction. So I'm going to do the multiplications first. I go 3 times 4 is 12, plus 4 times 3 is 12, minus 2. And now all I have is addition and subtraction. I can compute these. 12 plus 12 is 24. 24 minus 2 is 22. So there's a couple examples of how to use the order of operations. Hopefully the explanation gives you some understanding of why we use it and how to use it. Let me know if you have any questions. Post any homework questions that you're stuck on. And let me know of any other comments that you have. Thank you.